back for the 6th episode of Proffitt'S Resurrection Land Cruisers TV. You might notice I've got a little froggy voice going on. It's because of the fact that I'm just getting over being sick. Pretty much every year about this time I get sick, and I think it has something to do with the long push that it takes for us to get ready for Cruise Moab, and this year for Overland Expo, and the lack of sleep therein, and all the late night hours, and at least that's what I'm gonna say for now. That's my excuse. So anyway, it's been a while since we've had an episode, but we love making these, and we love the response that we get from you guys, and thank you very much. Hopefully this one's got a lot of eye candy and enjoyability for you. So, what's been happening here since the last episode? You saw this 1982 FJ40 starting to go back together in the last episode. It's nearly complete now, and we're very proud of the way it's turned out. These kind of body-off Stage 3 restorations give us a chance to show what we can do, and I love being able to touch every single part of the vehicle. So I'm pretty sure Bob could put one of these back together blindfolded, but what's going on, Bob? What's up?
I am just doing some interior reassembly, putting in the rear seats, and then I'm going to put on the top here pretty soon.
Sweet. How many Land Cruisers, Bob, have you reassembled?
I would say probably over 100.
Do you remember back in the day when we used to start, we'd be working on these things and you had no idea where anything went?
I do.
The first few were pretty rough. We would, if we didn't have another one laying around the shop that we could, sitting around the shop that we could check on, we'd probably put some things in the wrong place.
They're still pretty tricky.
So when we put a project together like this, usually the body tech's in charge of all the body reassembly, but we always have a mechanical technician who's in charge of putting everything back together to make sure it's ready to go. What have you been up to?
So I've had to reassemble the entire engine. I've basically just got everything together, the axles, the TKs, the transmission, all that. Just going over everything right now, topping off all my fluids, checking all my lines and all that, making sure everything's good to go.
Who gets to drive it first, you or Bob?
I don't know. That's a hard one to say. Depends, because we might have to drive it with your shoes off because it's nice and shiny in there. So you want
no shoes will be allowed in this vehicle. It's Japanese. What'd you
We
say,
want it
Bob?
soft.
Rochambeau for it.
Rochambeau. What is Rochambeau, Bob?
I can't say on camera.
So let's go see what else we got going on in the shop. Stand and grill. Grilling? Are you grilling?
Chilling and grilling.
Chilling and grilling? All right, so David, there's been so much that's happened since the last episode. I don't even remember how many Land Cruisers we've had, but since you're the small projects guy, just about always, what all have you done since these guys were here last?
Well, I'm working on an 80. Before that, worked on another FJ80. Worked on a 40, a 43, another 40, another 40, another 80. Probably 3 more 40s, and a golf cart.
and the golf cart. The all-important shop golf cart. Well, that's cool. Which is your favorite project that you've done since the last episode? Maybe we can find a picture of it to flash up.
Oh, I'd have to say the rock crawler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the crawler's been the funnest thing.
Yeah.
We've had an awful lot of late nights, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, later in this episode, teaser, we're going to feature the vehicle that he's talking about, which has actually been really fun, and all the guys pitched in on it. David had a really big piece of it. So small projects, I don't know if you have caught those numbers, but if you add them all up, what is that, about like an FJ 450?
Yeah, there's over a dozen projects since the last time.
So this is a 77 FJ40 here from New Jersey, and this is Alex's project and David's project, and it's a Stage 2 restoration. So we haven't talked about those yet, but a Stage 2 restoration is one where all the pieces come off, like you can see, just about everything's come off the vehicle, and it's all going to be refinished cosmetically, but the body will actually never come off the frame, and it saves a little bit of time, and because there's no damage on this body that permeates into an area that we can't get to without taking it off the frame, then it's well suited for that kind of restoration. It's also getting some pretty cool custom stuff. So you can tell there's no axle under the front of it, and that's because this is getting a spring over, just like the red FJ40 that you saw in the very first episode of this show. So Alex has all of the frame preparations made, and you can see a power steering pump mount, an hour spring over shackle reversal, and we're just about ready to start reassembly of the front axle under this Land Cruiser. A little known fact about 1977 FJ40s is that at any given moment they might gobble up the technician that's working on them. Check out this picture of what happened to Alex when he was working on it the other day. This is Nick. Nick is a very lucky Land Cruiser because he belongs to a super cool customer who is going to do all of the coolest things to this Land Cruiser. This is a stage 2 restoration, and we've already done the paint work on it. It's not been reassembled yet, but you can tell that it's new shiny silver, and it's also getting a 2.5-inch lift and a brand new 5.3 liter Vortec and H55F 5-speed transmission. So this is going to be a stealthy Land Cruiser when it's done, and he's got some really good ideas for the wheels and the interior, and it's going to be super cool. I can't wait to get this done for this customer. So there's a Mega Cruiser in the background, but Alex has specifically asked us that we don't show too much of it because he's not ready to reveal his secrets on that yet, so we're not going to get any closer. So this is a 1981 FJ40. In the last episode we did the pre-build meeting on this truck. And it's back from Sandblast, and this is a cool vehicle. Belongs to a Toyota dealership in Western Colorado, Bighorn Toyota in Glenwood Springs, and they are going to preserve this vehicle and keep it in their showroom for people to come by and look at. So I'm really excited to get this one done. Matt's been working on this for a couple of weeks now. Matt, you've done 4 restorations in the last few months here. We're going to watch one of them and feature one of them a little bit later in this episode. But what's different about this one than the other ones you've done?
This one is the first FJ40 that I've done that has not required a complete rear tub. Usually they come in there so rusted out in the back half that we have to put a whole new tub on it. And this one actually very rust free for what it is. Minor rust repair here and there. It did have some significant collision damage here and there that we've hammered and dollied out, done a little metal work, and now we're going ahead with the repair on that.
So this is the frame for the 81 FJ40 body off restoration, and as you can tell we have done nothing except for remove the body. So this is going to require a whole bunch of mechanical triage and then disassembly before the long process of making all of this look beautiful starts. So this Land Cruiser right here is a really cool FJ43 from Colombia. And the owner of this actually shipped it up here from Colombia so that we could do some work to it. And we might do a restoration, but it doesn't really need much because it only has 7,000 original kilometer, very low kilometer, cool specimen. There's really no rust, very little damage, and we're going to do some upgrades to it before it's ready for sale. Right now, power steering conversion is happening. And Alex?
Oh, it's going to be so much fun.
Would you rather work on this here, or do you want to go to Colombia and work on it there?
I'd rather work on it here with my tools, but as it is with this shop, everything must be modified.
So what's wrong? What's going on?
The AC and the power steering want to occupy the same bowl holes.
Oh, that doesn't sound friendly.
No. What I can understand is your fans.
What's wrong with my fan?
Besides sending you their parts, they also send you their clothes.
Oh, sweet, I needed some new shorts. There's something wrong with, there's something amuck with these shorts.
Yeah.
Oh wait, here it is.
Here you go. Oh, give me some cutoffs.
Colombian attire. This has been smuggled in. This is probably worth money. Look, Miguel, it says Miguel. So these FJ43s were sold primarily in Colombia, and they're about 14 inches longer than an FJ40. So they're very popular. That extra space in the back really makes the vehicle a lot more usable. More and more of them are being imported and sold at auction and sold privately, and this is probably the lowest mile specimen in the country, easily one of the nicest. It has not been restored, so it's just all factory the way it is right now. So all FJ43s in Colombia were sold as factory soft tops. I love the soft top look, it's very safari. Some of them have fiberglass tops on them, but those weren't actually made by Toyota. I think there's a couple of companies in Colombia, one of them called Inca, that makes an aftermarket hardtop for these. None of them had heaters, but a lot of them came with factory air conditioning, just like this one. These vehicles are imported from Colombia, and they're all over the United States for sale. This one's no different, and we're hoping to sell it for the client. I think it should be easy to sell because it's a very low mile specimen and it's in excellent condition. So we're just outside of our warehouse, and we've turned this into sort of a makeshift photo studio for today because there's just too much activity in the shop to do any filming and photo in there. The rig that's behind me is one of the vehicles that we had the big push to get done for Cruise Moab, which is the all-important event in our world, and I'm really excited to show it to you. This is a 1962 FJ40, and it doesn't look like it, but it's been body off restored. It's a special kind of restoration that we haven't done before, but we had a lot of fun doing it, and I look forward to being able to do more of these. We call it a patina restoration, and it's also a resto mod. So this has a lot of details and a lot of modifications, and let's see if we can't find them with the camera. So the client on this particular restoration asked for something that I thought was really cool. He said, I want a Land Cruiser that people want to check out in the grocery store parking lot, but they're afraid to get too close for fear of catching something. And I really think we captured that in this build. He also wanted every major conceivable drivability upgrade that we could do for both on and off road, which is a tricky combination. But I think we came up with a really good package. This vehicle is actually 100-mile-an-hour highway capable, and we took it to Moab and put it through the test on 3 really hard trails, and it did very well there too. So it's been a great one to build, and it's a lot of fun to drive. So the customer wanted this to be highway drivable, so we decided to go with a GM Ramjet 350. I like the Ramjet for this vehicle because it's not covered with plastic like more modern V8s, and it looks a little bit older. Behind the Ramjet, we ran a 4L80E automatic back to an Orion 4-to-1 transfer case for the off-road ability of its 4-to-1 gears. In addition to the Ramjet for power, we added some creature comforts like air conditioning and cruise control to the drivability package. So it was really important to the client that the interior of this vehicle sets itself apart just like the exterior does. So we chose a really unique upholstery. This is actually cow leather, but it's stamped and dyed to look like alligator hide. And I think it gives the vehicle a really cool look. So the challenge with a project like this is to figure out how to keep it looking old and keep as much of the original patina as possible. Believe it or not, this vehicle has been about half repainted. We had to repaint the entire rear of the vehicle because we did enough rust repair there, and also we moved the rear wheel wells back 3.5 inches to compensate for the longer drivetrain. So the rear of the vehicle has been painted. One of the fenders has been painted, the other is not. We'll see if you can tell which is which. And also the windshield frame and the entire white fiberglass top of the vehicle has also been redone. Now that was necessary because it was sort of like a sponge at this point, being 50 years old. It was soaking up water, and so we had to start from scratch with that. So for the rear wheel wells, originally this would have started about right here and come up. But because we wanted to run a little bit longer transmission than stock, and we'd like some length of rear drive shaft so we can keep drive shaft noise to a minimum, we chose to move the rear wheel well back within the original panel. So that means that from here down and from here back and all the way around has basically all been manipulated and messed with and ground to bare metal. And I think Matt did a pretty spectacular job matching the patina of this part of the vehicle, which is all original.
So this was my first patina restoration. It was a very fun project to work on, and somewhere during the course of it I realized that I had actually been creating patina on my own vehicles for quite some time, but this was the first time I was actually able to get paid to scratch and chip and make something look really old, which was totally fun.
So we wanted the body to look old, but we wanted the frame to look old too. And I wasn't comfortable with just using it in its rusty state. So we went ahead and powder coated the frame and every individual steering and suspension component a brown rusty looking coating. So in addition to the frame being powder coated to look rusty, we decided to contrast that with new yellow zinc fasteners throughout. I love the look that it gives, and from a distance it looks old, but from up close it looks brand new. So I'm trying to think of everything. It's almost too much to remember. 2.5-inch old Emu suspension with our shackle reversal, 4-wheel disc brakes, cool rigid lights in the front, cruise control, very, very cool Land Cruiser. Now we get to talk about this truck. This one's fun for me because it actually belongs to the shop, so we get to keep it around for a while. This is a 1971 FJ40 rock crawler, and it's very special for us because it's the first all Toyota rock crawler we've ever built. No Dana 60s or Rockwells. We stayed true to the brand and had a lot of fun doing it. So you might say that this entire rock crawler was actually built around these wheels. It was kind of a challenge that Alex gave me, and we decided to see if we could make a set of OEM factory wheels into 17-inch beadlocks. And we did that because we really liked the looks of the factory hubcap. So we built the wheels first, and their inspiration for the rest of the vehicle started right there. So we started with a 1971 FJ40, but rock crawlers need wheelbase. So we stretched this Land Cruiser 13 3/4 inches, exactly to the length of an FJ43. That allowed us to get a 106-inch wheelbase and make it climb up the ledges a lot easier. To keep a low center of gravity, we decided to raise the interior floor about 5 inches. The wheel wells had to be bigger to accommodate the 40-inch tires, and we needed a place to put the shock mounts too. We spent a lot of time making the interior of this vehicle look factory, although it is all brand new sheet metal. Even though this vehicle is heavily modified, we wanted to retain the stock appearance as much as possible. That's why we kept the factory dash layout. The Dakota digital instrumentation package blends in nicely, and you can barely tell that it's not the original set of gauges. Because we wanted to keep all Toyota DNA, we had to use a Toyota engine of some kind. Fuel injection is a must, so we chose a 3FE fuel-injected straight six out of an FJ62 Land Cruiser. Some would say modern V8 power is nicer, but there's something about the torque and lugging capability of an old Land Cruiser straight six that just seemed right for this build. Behind the 3FE engine is the stock A440 automatic transmission from the same Land Cruiser and a split case with 4-to-1 gears in it from Advanced Adapters. The 3-link front and 4-link rear suspensions are the result of our fabricator Alex being let loose to do whatever he wanted for suspension. I can tell you firsthand that this rig performs very well on and off-road. An FJ62 front axle and an FJ60 rear axle, both equipped with ARB locking differentials and 529s, right axle choice for a rig that we wanted a little bit wider than stock. The front and rear bumpers on this rig are also the creation of our fabricator, who loves the opportunity to express his creativity on any build. A project like this is a tremendous amount of work, not just because of all the custom fabrication, but this vehicle is also a Stage 3 restoration. Every detail, every component, every subcomponent on the vehicle was rebuilt and refinished. We wanted to stick with a factory color, something from the 70s to make it feel retro, so we chose Toyota's Spring Green. It's a super cool color, and it's hard to pull off with anything but a rock crawler. We sprayed the underside of the body with spring green colored Vortex and the inside of the body with gray Vortex to keep the dirt down. We partnered up with Bilstein on this project, and I can't tell you how excited I was to hear that they were going to help us. You can always count on the quality of Bilstein's product, and these coilover shocks are no exception. Because Bilstein had a relationship with Toyota already, we were super excited to be able to use their coilover shocks on this vehicle. I can tell you we weren't disappointed. The quality of these shocks shows through on and off-road. I'd also like to thank ARB 4x4 Accessories, Dakota Digital, and Rigid Industries. ARB's products are famous around the world, and we use their stuff on just about every Land Cruiser we build. Dakota Digital's HDX series gauges are sweet. They provide everything you want to know about the engine, and they all fit into the original gauge cluster. It's a great OEM look and perfect for this build. Another company that we love to work with is Rigid Industries. Their LED light technology is the best in the industry. We covered this vehicle up with their product, and I think nighttime is now my favorite time to drive. This Land Cruiser was built almost entirely after hours, and I have to thank everybody who volunteered their time to help us. I also have to thank my wife Chandra, who doesn't just get it, she actually helps with it. She's got countless hours on this vehicle too, and it's really nice to have a partner in projects like this. So that's about all the time we have for this episode. But if you want more content in between videos, you can always check out our Facebook page under Resurrection Land Cruisers. And then we have our Instagram feed at Pro Cruiser. Also, we do daily vlogs nearly on our website at resurrectionlandcruisers.com. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you for the next episode of Proffitt'S Resurrection Land Cruisers TV. Does this have a 5-speed?
No, it's 4.
All right, we can cut. Okay. You'll be the first person to take it off. It's only got 7,000 kilometers on it. It's hardly been touched by human hands. This is like an organic Land Cruiser.